global leaders meeting in Davos this last week for the 2016 World Economic Forum, talking about everything from the future of technology to growth on a global scale. I want to bring in Cathy Engelbert. She's Chairman and CEO of Deloitte, with some highlights and some key conversations from this year's summit. And Cathy, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We were talking in the break about what managers of businesses were telling you, and everybody who came on my show, certainly from Davos, and Anthony, you agreed, was quite positive about U.S. growth and about where things are going, but the markets certainly are not.
Yeah, I think it is the tale of two cities. For instance, who would have thought there would be more snow in New York than in Davos? So that's
right,
the first tale.
Funny.
But honestly, you know, what I was hearing while I was in Davos is essentially a dichotomy of what companies are managing in 2016. You know, you had the fourth industrial revolution as the theme of Davos. It resonated a lot with CEOs. CEOs were looking at how they're going to invest, and the dichotomy there is risk and keeping that capital on the sideline, given China oil and the strength of the U.S. dollar. I think they're also looking at this ecosystem out there and how they'll have to compete as well as partner, and I call it competitive, so they'll have to partner with some of their, and you see a lot of those alliances being announced. So really, tale of two cities, a dichotomy in what companies are faced with, so it's interesting.
You know, it's interesting because, first of all, the markets tend to be pricing in a lot of the stuff maybe before the economy does. So the first point is maybe the markets know something that we don't know yet from the economic perspective. But I guess the second question that I would have to you is, China, oil, and the U.S. dollar, those are issues that may not go away overnight. So what are the corporate executives doing and thinking about what can they do to mitigate the business impact of those things?
I think what I heard was they need to have a global strategy, but be very hyper-local on how they implement it, given the volatility in certain countries. So, again, where you might have had one global strategy trying to implement that, now you really have to be hyper-local and determine what your strategy is in Brazil, in Russia, in China. So I think, and again, that whole overlay of China, oil, and the U.S. dollar, again, is impacting, and you saw it in the earnings releases last week.
Because this is to all y'all, what are they saying about the potential political landscape here in the United States, these CEOs? Because, quite frankly, none of these candidates look super business friendly. Tax reform would be great for corporations, but not if you're going to have a president who puts tariffs on imported goods from China, tells your company who they can hire and how much they can pay them, and where they can make their products.
Right. Well, that's the Black Swan event. I mean, so at the Board of Governors meeting, which I attended, all the investors, Larry Fink, Steve Schwartzman, et cetera, that's their Black Swan event, that a non-establishment player gets the presidency, whether it's a Trump or a Sanders. I mean, Steve Schwartzman said he thinks the market volatility is that's a contributing factor, the Sanders-Trump evolution in American politics.
Wow. I think it's another tale of two cities, or maybe three cities now that Bloomberg's joining the race potentially. But I think U.S. companies feel they've transformed since the financial crisis and feel they're very well positioned to capitalize no matter who's in government. So I don't think they're actually too focused on it. Will we love comprehensive tax reform? Sure. Immigration reform? Sure. But they're not sitting on the sidelines given the fourth industrial revolution that's going on.
But this is one issue that the Republicans are certainly prioritizing, tax reform, that we could see it in 17 or 18. Cathy, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Cathy Engelbert there.